So one thing I want to ask, I mean, one of the purposes of when I was thinking about, well, what are we going to talk about? I'm glad you're going to be on the show. And then we, talked about service and servicing the community and this. How do you inspire other people? I mean, if the takeaway from this show is to get involved, how do you say you inspire other people locally, the people that are watching, to or encourage other people to get involved where they are and what they can do to be a part of the community, to service the community?
That's a good question. I think that the first thing is to understand that you can serve in many different ways. Writing a check is important. So I don't people shouldn't say, "Oh, I just don't want to write a check." Yes, you should write that check. No,
Can I just say Martin writes a lot of checks?
you did.
Martin does give a lot to different charities, and I just want to give you a shout out because you do, honey.
And that's
thank you.
really important. And I will say, to the extent that you know an organization and feel comfortable with the way that it's run and what they do, please give to their annual fund, as opposed to the more restrictive you make your gift. If you want to make it restricted to certain things, that's fine. But if you know the organization and trust them, just give to their annual fund and trust that they will do what they need with the money. Because sometimes you might need, new toilets. No one wants to fund that, but the organization still has to figure out how to pay for it. So just give to the annual fund and let them figure out what they need how best to utilize it. So anyway, just understand that there are many different ways you can support an organization, and then think about the things that you really care about. For me, I prefer to get to do work that addresses the root cause. I don't necessarily always sort of do my volunteering around that, but if I had a choice, and someone said, "Okay, here's hunger. You can, volunteer at a soup kitchen," which is great, which I've done. But you can also look at this thing over here. This organization is sort of trying to get at the root causes of hunger so we can end hunger. My heart is much more towards that, because I feel that ultimately, if we were able to do that, then the other problem would be solved. But some people are the exact opposite. Some people want that direct service, which is very, very important. So I think, board membership is another way you're sort of at a higher level. It's a lot of fundraising. It's a lot of sort of policy kind of work and supporting the executive staff and whatnot. But just figure out that the issues that are important to you. You don't have to stay with it forever. Your interests might change, but however and wherever you want to give, it will be welcomed by those different organizations.
So you're saying the first thing you should do is identify an organization that speaks to you.
Or identify an issue that speaks to you.
An issue, okay.
And identify organizations that address that issue, yes.